Hey everyone, today we are going to be learning how to use Canva to make filters for our photo booth businesses. 3 things you need to know before we get started is that this video is geared towards TouchPix users. The second is that I am using the computer version of Canva. They do have an app. The functions are the same, but it's going to look slightly different. And number 3, I do have Canva Pro. At the time of recording this video, I believe it's about $13 a month, and they offer a 30-day free trial. So feel free to take full advantage of that. In this video, I'm going to be going over these key points. Feel free to pause so that you can read it at your own pace. Before you can make a filter, you are going to need to know the size of that filter. Inside TouchPix, we know that there are different templates, and all those templates have different sizes. In order to create a filter that perfectly fits this particular template, you are going to need to know the size of your template. For today's tutorial, I will be using Slow-Mo Overlay 2. And to get the perfect measurements for this, I'm going to go to Uploads, and I'm going to hover my mouse over this question mark. This tells me all of the sizes of all of the templates. So for template 2 square, those measurements are 1072 by 1072 pixel. Now that we know our measurements, we can truly get started in Canva. I'm going to go to create a design in the top right and go to custom size. This is where I'm going to type in those measurements that I just got off the TouchPix website. Remember, they used pixels. Then we're going to go to create new design. So this is going to be your design page. On the left side of your screen, you will see a few different tabs, and these are the tools that we are going to use to create our filter. Throughout this video, if you notice that I have a tab that you do not, if you click on more, you're most likely going to find that option within there. Canva offers a lot of pre-made templates, ready-made designs, and at first glance they do look like they are all for social media posts, but I'm going to show you how with some slight editing you can make yourself a really quick filter. In the search bar, I'm going to type keywords like border and frame. Throughout this process, the search key is going to be your best friend, and knowing some really good keywords can be super helpful. So I'm going to type in border. And here are some options, and you'll probably see that this goes on and on forever. But let's start with this one. This is an invitation, but with some quick changing, we're going to make this into a filter. So I'm clicking on the text that I don't really want. So I click on that, and I'm going to go to this trash can in the corner and delete element. Now I'm left with these 2 options here. These options are grouped together, and you may run into elements that are like this when you're dealing with templates. You simply just want to ungroup them, and now they move freely. And so I'm clicking the crown, hold the shift key, and now I'm clicking Princess Maddie so that I can select them together and move them down. So just like that, I just made a template into a filter. Let's do one more before we move on. Here is a bridal picnic invitation. I'm simply clicking on these words because we know when we're creating a filter, we don't want a background and we don't want anything in the middle. So I'm going to delete the elements that I do not want to use. And we'll keep the theme consistent. So for something like this, you can change this to the bride and groom name, Mr. and Mrs. Barnes. This is another situation that you will encounter, which is when the text kind of goes to the second line. If you want them to all be on the same line, you're going to use this little white dash there. Hover your mouse over it, click it, and drag out. And that just put everything on one line. And just like that, I used another template to create a bridal filter. Okay, so feel free to explore all of those filter options, but that's how you can turn a template into a filter. Moving on to elements. Elements is going to be a great option when you want to create something just a little bit more customized. Now, remember that search bar is your best friend, and in situations like this, you're going to need keywords. So for today's example, we are going to be making a winter wonderland filter. With that being said, keywords like winter wonderland, snow, snowflake, snowman, holidays, and things like that can help you find the graphics you might be looking for. So let's start with winter wonderland. Sometimes you do get lucky and they already have winter wonderland written out in such a nice and pretty font, so you can use that. But they also have snowflakes and other cool images that you can add to your design. Same thing with typing in snowflake. You'll see different types of snowflakes, some cartoony, some more elegant, and I actually really like this wind snowflake vibe, so I'm going to add that. When you add an image and you see these colors pop up here, that simply means you have the option of changing the colors. So let's see. I changed the snowflakes to the color red. I think that looks quite nice. So I'm just going to add this to my design. I think that we can keep it simple and just add this to the other side. So I'm going to select my windy snowflakes and duplicate them. So now I have two. In my mind, I really want them both on the sides, kind of framing the winter wonderland words, but obviously this is not the right direction, so I can flip this. Up here in my menu bar, I'm going to go to flip, and I'm going to flip this horizontally, and now it's facing the direction that I would like it to be. This is not centered, so I am going to select everything and try to center this as best I can. Canva does help you with the lining up with these purple lines, kind of help you figure out the middle or if two things are perfectly aligned. So this could be a really simple filter if you choose to leave it this way. So let's add a second page. So let's create a bordered filter. Whenever I'm going to make a bordered filter, I typically look for repeating designs like this one here, or an image like this. For the sake of this example, I am going to use that one there. And obviously we can't see the snowflakes because my page is white and the graphic is white. So let's change the color of the page. So I'm going to click on the page and I'm just going to go to this color box and change my background to black. So now I can actually see the filter or the graphic. So for this, I am going to completely stretch out this graphic across the entire page, and I am going to pull it to the sides. The thickness of your graphic is completely up to you. And I'm going to duplicate this, and I'm going to drag it onto the other side. And we're going to duplicate it a third time. Let's move it up to the top. And then one more time for the bottom. So just like that, I use that image to create a bit of a border. And you can bring in that winter wonderland down here, add some text, but this is your filter. The Uploads tab can be very helpful when you have a client who wants their personal image added to a filter. To upload an image into Canva, that image does need to be saved to your computer. You will come into Canva, go to the Uploads tab, select Upload Media. It's going to open the folders on your computer and you can upload the image. You do want to deal with the highest quality images just to make your life a bit easier. To add the image to your workspace, you are going to click on that image and go to Edit Image and select Background Remover. Because this is a great high quality image, she has been perfectly removed from the background. If you ever have a situation where there are certain aspects that were deleted from the image that you want to add back, you can restore them by clicking restore and adding them back into the image. Or if too much of the image still remains, you can go ahead and hit erase and delete what you need to delete. Okay. From there, she is ready to be added to a filter. So let's move on to text. Inside of Canva, they do have pre-made font combinations for a quick start, and you can just click on it and type in whatever you would like it to say. This is pretty huge, so I'm going to make that smaller. And remember, you can pull out that side to put everything on one page, on one line, sorry, and bring this down. So that's using like a pre-made font over here. You can also go to add a heading, and you can choose from the fonts that they already have inside of Canva, or you can also upload fonts into Canva for you to use. You can change the size of it, or you can change the size by just dragging it, and you can change the color. Let's see. And this might be the person's name. So happy birthday to this person. As you start to work with different elements and graphics in a space, it's important to understand positioning. And what I mean by that is, as you can see, my client is in front of the snowflakes, but if I brought everything in and she ended up behind the snowflakes, I will want to fix this by clicking on her image, going to position, and then moving her to the front. So problem solved. All in all, I like this design and I want to go ahead and download it. Before you fully download the image, you definitely want to make sure it's titled in a way that will be easy to find. And then we're going to go over here to download. The correct way to download your filter for the designer space in TouchPix will be as a PNG with a transparent background. A PNG with a transparent background. That is very important. And then you want to make sure only the page you want is selected. I know this is page 3, so I only want page 3, and I'm going to hit download. I'm going to also download this without it being a transparent background, just so that you all can see what it looks like and what you need to avoid. So now that that download is complete, I'm going to move over into the TouchPix website in the designer. So when you create custom filters, this is where you would come to upload those custom filters. So under here where it says custom overlay, you're going to select browse and you're going to bring in your filter. So first I'm going to bring in the filter that was done incorrectly. This was saved as a PNG, but it was not saved as a transparent PNG. And when I click on it, at first glance, it looks like it's done correctly. It looks exactly the way it looked inside of Canva. But this is actually incorrect. When you upload an image into TouchPix, your filter into TouchPix, you want to make sure you can see that shadow person behind it. And being as though I cannot, I know right away that this was not saved correctly. So I'm going to bring in the one that's done correctly. Right away, you are going to notice the difference. So that black background is gone, and I can properly see what I call the shadow person. Okay? So whenever you don't see that shadow person, something might have went wrong and you need to make that update. So once your filter is in, you can see the placement. You want to save this to the event. You want to select the event that it is for, and you hit Add Template. When this turns green, you know that it has been successfully added to that event. All right. If you have found this video to be helpful in any way, please like and share. And if you still have questions on how to create filters, please leave your comments below.